the real hip hop back. And now we're in this time frame where these things are being praised. But when we look at the generation underneath us, they clout chasing, they hating. It's always excuses, right? It's always excuses for the other person, but it's never, a reasoning for the person who is reacting to something that someone did to them. Right? We gotta talk about the diss towards Travis Scott. Right? It seems like people always get mad at the reaction, but they don't want to look at the action. And for the people who don't know why Pusha T is on So Be It, this new song dissing Travis Scott, it's because Travis Scott was not authentic. He was not a genuine friend to him, Pharrell or Kanye. It's because of Travis Scott's ability to play the fence, play both sides, and try to stay in between, in the middle. But sometimes that goes wrong. And when you talk with loyal people, when you experience people who have a certain pride in their friendships and in their relationships, and keeping those as a priority to the backbiting, to the backsliding, right? I think that puts you in a peculiar situation. And Travis Scott, he from Texas. Shout out Texas, Houston, right? To be exact, we can't ignore that as a Texan. But as a Texan, and if you grew up in Houston, you grew up with Zero. And if you grew up with Zero, he illustrates in his music what a fake friend is. Zero was a role model to us all. He was a teacher to us all when it comes to, friends that don't have your best interests at heart. So for Travis to be from Houston, to be from Texas, Pimp C, Bun B, to be from Scarface, to be from an era where that introspective rapping was always high within our culture, and to not understand the hip hop rules and elements and how moving this way could be looked at in a certain way. Right? And I say that to say all this. Right? Pusha T diss Travis Scott. Why did he diss Travis Scott? Let's get to the meat and potatoes, and I'll serve you a dish. Travis Scott did a song with Drake on the last album he came out with called Utopia. He did a song with Drake. Right? Drake is on this song dissing Pharrell. Right? Drake says something in the lyrics about melting down his chains. This is why the song is called Meltdown. It's an excerpt from Drake's verse. Right? And then once Drake finishes his verse, Travis follows it up. Right? So that's where people who are trying to defend Travis Scott and saying he doesn't know, or he doesn't really listen to rap, or just trying to say that he didn't know about this, it wasn't brought to his attention, he didn't know that this would be seen as a diss song, right? So what happened was Travis Scott played the song for Pharrell. He barged in to Clips and Pharrell studio session with the Utopia briefcase, with the cameras rolling, filming all of this for his documentary. In Pusha T words, he was jumping, laughing, smiling, doing his monkey dance, right? So basically putting on a show for the cameras. They didn't even really want him there. They don't even have any interest in his music, but he wanted to play this for Pharrell. Pharrell, on this Utopia album, he has production credits, right? And on this album, Drake is dissing Pharrell. And not only is he dissing Pharrell, he's also dissing Pusha T because he talks about Pharrell being the boss of people. So it's indirectly at Pusha T, but it's more directly towards Pharrell. And I mean, Pharrell never had a true issue with Drake. It's Drake trying to get at other people on the side of Pusha T. And Pharrell is a lot more notable, is a lot more critically acclaimed, a lot more popular. So hey, instead of dissing you, I'm gonna diss somebody who's a bigger star, a bigger artist than you, and that's how I'm going to get under your skin. And Travis Scott allowed this. So be it. So if you allowed this, then whatever reaction that you get from me after you act like you was my friend and you act like you was one of my best friend and you laughed and played in our face while we was trying to get some business done, we took time for you to do this, but you wasn't genuine about it. You hid some things. This Drake verse was delivered to him at the last minute. How could he know? He followed up the verse. Then on top of that, he called the song Meltdown. And regardless if he didn't or didn't know, he's still responsible in knowing. Right? You're still responsible. If something happens under your watch and you're at work and you're the manager and the supervisor of a certain project, you're still going to be responsible whether you know or whether you don't know. If you're a head coach of a team and a player does something outside the lines, off the court, off the field, and you don't know about it, the fact that you're his coach. Look at Art Browse at Baylor. The fact that you're the coach, you're going to be held responsible if the discipline is not what people think it should be. Travis Scott, you're responsible for acting in such a way. You're responsible with acting like a $4 bill, fake and phony. Right? Zeros told us. Pimp C, Bun B, they told us. Scarface told us, you're from Texas, brother. You're supposed to know better than this, but you're acting as if you're not from the culture. You're acting as if integrity doesn't matter. And we're not even going to we're not even going to talk about what happened in Astro World and how you reacted after that. Because now that we see these whole tendencies, now we got to bring up some things that happen really in the spotlight. Now we got to dig a little bit deeper. And we got to see what your character really is. A guy from Texas. I love my Texans. But you know the lesson. Zero told us. And the fact that you ignored those teachings and are maneuvering in the industry as a reptilian-bodied person, a snake would be the best description, then we got to look at that in a certain light. So this is not clout chasing from Pusha T. This is right up his alley. This is the brand of Clips. This is the brand of Pusha T, calling out what you don't see as manly, as masculine, the same way he talked about Kanye West in their interview, the same way he feels about how Drake is acting, right? So I don't really have an issue with Pusha T calling them out. And for the people saying, oh, he didn't respond to Jim Jones, the song that he made Jim Jones even get in the booth to wanna diss him back is the Chains and Whip song. And it hadn't dropped. It was on a preview on a LVMH fashion, Louis Vuitton fashion show. They previewed the song. It never came out. We found out it never came out because there was a Kendrick verse on that, and UMG and Drake was trying to block that verse because of the lawsuit. the album never came out. So now that the song and the album is finally coming out, of course. Of course, of course. And there's no rush, no need to get back to Jim Jones because we know Jim Jones is delusional. Jim Jones thinks that he's the better rapper than Nas. Jim Jones, he thinks that these young people love him. The young people don't love Jim Jones like that. I don't know any young person outside of New York thinking about Jim Jones in that type of manner. Nobody cares about how you dress. Nobody cares about how you talk. Nobody cares if you know Cameron and you're from the Dipset. Nobody